Hi guys, I'm so happy to be back today with our little new rendezvous of the weekend because yes guys, I plan on having an episode every single weekend. So one in French probably on the Saturday and the English one on the Sunday, but probably that first video in English is going to be released probably on a Monday because I'm starting to recording and today is Saturday. But I'm really happy to be back today with this new series of videos that we're going to call the musical anecdote because yes, I'm going to be telling you lots of different stories about different artists that you may already know or may not, and just telling a little bit more about what they've done, how they've done it, and eventually giving you a new angle around their own music and understanding it much better. And today, we're going to start with a very unique artist, a guitar player that I actually did plan on talking about a while ago, but last week I had a comment on the video about Bibi Kelly from one of you. It's actually from Innocent, so if you are watching that video is for you, not just for you, obviously, it's for all of you guys, but especially for you, Innocent. So I hope that, I can't remember if you're from Zimbabwe or Kenya, but tell me in the comment section. I really hope you'll enjoy that video. But today, we're going to be talking about that very unique guitar player because that artist is someone quite famous, he's quite renowned, but I really wanted to start that series of videos with a musician, not just a singer, but a musician, because many of you actually ask for this, but also because so much of the music that we listen to is actually embodied by many singers, female singers or male singers, but the guitar players or the drummers or the bass guitar players behind it are as important as all of these singers. And it was really important for me to share with you that little anecdote about that specific guitar player, because the music that you listen to whenever you listen to Congolese rumba is very much influenced by this little detail that everything. You're ready, all comfortable in bed, in your sofa, in front of your TV, wherever you're watching from the world, and that you're ready to rediscover this story about Lokassa Ya Mbongo. Off we go. But before we go into much details about that little anecdote, I need to explain a little bit more about who Lokassa Ya Mbongo was, because obviously some of you might know who he is already, but it's not everyone's case. So, Lokassa Ya Mbongo, his actual real name was Denis Lokassa Kassia, was born in Kinshasa in the Republic Democratic of Congo in 1946. And many different things were happening at this time in terms of music. And I've done many videos about it. And I would actually recommend you to go and have a look at the video that I've done about Grand Calais, because that video is probably the one that's going to give you enough context about what was actually going on at the time in terms of music. But Lokassa Ya Mbongo was actually born in 1946, and from a very young age he's going to develop a very natural talent for the guitar. He was a very gifted guitar player, and he learned that by himself, he learned that his own way, and very naturally he's going to have lots of talent as a guitar player. And it is because of this talent that different artists are going to start to notice his very good talent as a guitar player. And in the early 60s, he's actually, because of this talent, going to start to work with different bands. The first one being African Fiesta, the band of Tabu Ley Rochereau and Dr. Nico. And I really want you to keep in mind the name of Dr. Nico because he's very important for this little anecdote. And afterwards, he's actually going to be working with Afrisa International, which is Tabu Ley Rochereau, really famous band. But most importantly, it is his capacity that he's going to have to adapt to different style, to different projects, and all of that are going to make him someone extremely noticeable and extremely wanted in the Congolese music scene at this time. And it is because of that Lokassa Ya Mbongo was unique and very different, because he always wanted to make sure that the sound of his music was something unique. Obviously, he would have the influence of the different musicians and singers he's been working with in the different bands, but he made something extremely unique. And it is at this specific moment that we need to have a little bit more of a focus on the different musicians that are actually going to influence Lokassa Ya Mbongo, because this anecdote is about a little secret that made something very unique with Lokassa Ya Mbongo's music, and it is thanks to these direct and indirect encounter. To understand the impact of Lokassa Ya Mbongo, we need to go back a little bit in time and talk about another musician, the guitar player. His name is Zakari Elanga, and he's both from the Republic of Congo because he was born in 1926 in Brazzaville, but he's also from the Central African Republic, which is just next to Congo. And the reason why I'm mentioning it, because I don't think we talk enough wisely about the brilliant musician from Central African Republic. But Jimmy was a musician. He was an absolute genius. He was genius because he could master both the theory, the harmony, and he was among one of the first musicians that can introduce so many different type of innovations, including the little secret that's going to make the difference for Lokassa Ya Mbongo. But he was someone extremely unique, extremely influential and very talented, and he was overwhelming the Congolese music scene as much as different musicians like Dr. Nico and another musician that's going to introduce that little secret that he's going to learn from Jhimmy Elanga, and he's going to teach that little secret to Lokassa Ya Mbongo. So I hope you're ready, because now I'm going to mention another man. Remember, I've mentioned the guitar player Dr. Nico earlier, because Lokassa Ya Mbongo is going to be part of the band African Fiesta, which was Dr. Nico's band as much as Tabu Ley Rochereau's. But the reason why I'm mentioning it, because it is while working with the brother of Dr. Nico, his name is Mwanba Dechaud, that Lokassa Ya Mbongo is going to learn about that little secret that made the difference in the sound of his music. I hope you're ready. I'm going to reveal that little secret now. So, Mwanba Dechaud, the brother of Dr. Nico, is going to teach something very unique to Lokassa Ya Mbongo, something that he's going to learn himself from Jhimmy Elanga. And that little secret is something very simple, but something that is actually going to be associated with Lokassa Ya Mbongo until now. And that little detail is simply that, remember when I was telling you that Lokassa Ya Mbongo was a genius musician and he's learned by himself to play the guitar when he was only 14 years old. And what he's going to do, something that he's going to learn from Mwanba Dechaud, is that he's going to change one of the string of his guitar, and actually he's going to change the note D. So in French it's Ré. He's going to change that note for the note E instead, and in French it is Mi. So he's going to change these, and it is that little detail, that little change in his guitar, that's going to actually transform the sound of his music. And it's something that he inherited from Mwanba Dechaud, who himself inherited that from Jhimmy Elanga. And this little detail is not just going to have a consequence on his own music, because obviously he's going to have his own band afterwards, but it's going to transform the sound of the music of the different musicians and singers that he's going to be working with, including Tabu Ley Rochereau and Sam Mangwana. And now this very unique sound of Soukous and Congolese rumba is associated with Lokassa Ya Mbongo, but this is something that he's going to learn from Mwanba Dechaud, who learned itself from Jhimmy Elanga. So it is that little detail that's going to make such a huge difference in the music of Lokassa Ya Mbongo. And obviously, it's something that he's going to bring in his band going forward, his band called Soukous Star, and is going to bring whenever working with different musicians and different singers, and something that we owe to Zakari Elanga, to Mwanba Dechaud, and obviously to Lokassa Ya Mbongo, because now it is something very unique that not so many guitar players are doing, and that is naturally associated with Lokassa Ya Mbongo. And I hope that you're going to remember this little musical anecdote, and that whenever listening to his music, it's going to give you a new understanding of his music whenever you're going to be listening to it. And I'll see you next week with the next episode.